It was past 2 a.m. when the conversation finally shifted from the usual pleasantries to the things that actually kept them awake at night. The living room was warm, lit only by the low hum of a floor lamp and a few dying candles. 5 empty mugs sat on the coffee table. Sarah, the scientist of the group, adjusted her glasses, looking more vulnerable than usual. "I spend my whole life looking for empirical evidence," she said, her voice quiet. "But when I look at the universe, the sheer terrifying scale of it, I don't feel insignificant like I'm supposed to. I feel watched. And that makes no logical sense. It haunts me." Malik, who had spent 40 years working in a factory and raising 3 kids, leaned forward, his hands clasped. "I don't worry about the universe, Sarah. I worry about the quiet. I retired last month." The noise stopped. And now, for the first time, I'm asking myself if I actually built anything or if I just survived. Is survival enough of a legacy? On the floor, Leo, the youngest, a college dropout turned artist, hugged his knees. "At least you guys have a path you walked," he murmured. "I'm paralyzed. Everyone says, follow your passion. But what if I don't have one? What if I'm just here? I feel like I'm waiting for a permission slip that's never coming." Elena, who usually had a spiritual quote for everything, stayed silent for a long time. She swirled the dregs of her tea. "My doubt isn't about passion or logic," she finally admitted. "It's about suffering. I preach about everything happening for a reason. But when I see what happens to good people, I feel like a fraud. I'm terrified that maybe it's just chaos and I'm just making up stories to sleep better." Then Sam, the pragmatic corporate lawyer who rarely showed emotion, looked up from the shadows. "Maybe," he said, his voice cracking slightly, "maybe the point isn't to solve the chaos. Maybe the point is just this. Us, sitting here, admitting we don't know. Maybe we aren't supposed to have the answers. We're just supposed to not be alone in the questions." For the first time that night, nobody tried to fix it. Nobody offered a platitude. They just sat in the shared silence, and for a moment, the weight of the doubts felt a little lighter, shared across 5 pairs of shoulders. The silence settled over them like a blanket, heavy, warm, and strangely comforting. Outside, the wind pressed gently against the windows, as though it too wanted to listen in. After a long moment, Sarah exhaled, the sound almost a laugh. "You know," she said, "if my colleagues heard me talking about feeling watched by the universe, I'd lose my research grant." Malik chuckled, a quiet rumble from his chest. "Then it's a good thing grants don't inspect living rooms at 2 a.m. Leo shifted, resting his chin on his arms now. "It's weird. I thought older grown-ups," he corrected with a playful smirk, "had everything figured out by now." "Oh, we do," Sam deadpanned. "We're just very good at hiding the panic." Elena leaned back, staring at the flickering candlelight. "Maybe that's the issue. We hide too much. We pretend certainty is a requirement for adulthood, when maybe it's just better masks." Sarah nodded slowly, her eyes softening as a thought formed. What if the universe watching us isn't about control or destiny? What if it's just observation? Like, we're part of something bigger, and that alone gives us meaning, whether we see the blueprint or not. "That's poetic," Malik said. "Better than anything my union rep ever told me." But he paused, rubbing the back of his neck. "Legacy," he muttered. "When my kids were younger, I thought I had more time. Now they've got their own lives. When I walked out of the factory on my last day, I didn't feel free. I felt replaced." Leo's voice was barely above a whisper. "I get replaced before I even start." Sam leaned forward, elbows on his knees, the corporate polish stripped away. "Malik, Leo, maybe legacy isn't about leaving something behind that people remember forever. Maybe it's about moments, small ones, the people who felt less alone because you were there. He looked down, as if embarrassed by his own vulnerability. I've spent so much time negotiating other people's problems. I forgot I had my own. Elena reached across the table, placing her hand palm up. Not forcing, not insisting, just offering. One by one, the others placed their hands on top of hers. 5 hands, different ages, different histories, different wounds, stacked like a fragile tower that somehow held steady. Maybe, Elena said softly, meaning isn't found. Maybe it's made, in conversations like this, in honesty, in asking the questions we're scared to ask. Leo blinked back unexpected tears. So you're saying this is my permission slip? Malik squeezed the pile of hands gently. Kid, I think it's all of ours. Sarah looked at each of them in turn, and for once she didn't search for the rational explanation. Maybe being watched isn't scary, she said quietly. Maybe it means we matter. The clock ticked toward 3 a.m. No one stood up, no one walked away. The doubts were still there, but now they felt shared, spread thin, like light across the horizon before dawn. And for the first time in a very long time, they felt like they weren't drifting alone in the dark. The candles finally gave out, leaving only the soft glow of the lamp and 5 people breathing, thinking, healing, together. The room felt different now, not lighter exactly, but open, as though the walls themselves had exhaled with them. Outside, a faint blue hinted at the coming dawn, but inside, time seemed to hold its breath. Malik leaned back into the couch, his joints popping softly. You know, he said, tonight reminds me of something my grandmother used to say. When the night gets too heavy, borrow someone else's strength. I never quite got it until now. I like that, Elena murmured. Maybe that's the whole point of community. Leo stretched out his legs, staring up at the ceiling as though it held constellations only he could see. Do you guys ever think about who you'd be if you weren't scared? The question buzzed in the air. Sarah was the first to answer. I'd study the things I'm told not to. The questions academia avoids because they're too big, too strange. I'd follow my curiosity instead of proving myself. She shrugged, a little embarrassed by her own confession. I'd let wonder be enough. Sam let out a breathy laugh. I'd quit my job for a month, just 1 month. No emails, no clients, no arguments about contract clauses. I'd go somewhere quiet and figure out what I actually want. He paused. And maybe admit that I'm tired. Leo looked at Malik and raised an eyebrow. What about you? Malik rubbed his palms together as though warming them over a fire only he could feel. If I weren't scared, I'd call my kids more. I'd tell them I didn't always know what I was doing. I'd stop pretending I was stronger than I am. And you? Sam asked, looking gently toward Elena. Elena swallowed hard. If I weren't scared, I'd stop using spirituality as a shield. Her voice wavered. I'd let myself sit with anger, with confusion, with grief. I'd stop forcing myself to be the hopeful one. Leo rolled onto his side, facing them, eyes glassy but clear. I think I'd just pick something. Anything. Try it without worrying if it's the thing I'm meant to do. You could start tomorrow, Sarah offered. Pick a tiny thing, a sketch, a walk, a question. Doesn't have to be grand. Yeah, Leo whispered. Maybe. A gust of wind rattled the window, but it felt more like a nudge than a warning, as if the world outside was urging them forward, gently, patiently. Malik glanced at the clock. It's nearly 4, he said, but made no move to stand. Feels like we've been in this room forever. In a good way. It's strange, Sam mused. I've had hundreds of conversations in my life. Meetings, negotiations, small talk, but this feels like the first honest one in years. Elena smiled softly. Honesty is rare when everyone's trying to look strong. Sarah leaned forward, elbows on her knees. So what do we do with all of this? These truths we didn't mean to say? Sam shook his head. Maybe nothing. Maybe the admission is the action. Maybe tonight was the point. But Leo sat up suddenly, crossing his legs. No, he said, surprising even himself. I think we should promise something. Not a big thing, just that we'll try, even if it's tiny, even if we fail. Malik considered it, then nodded. A small promise. Elena looked around the room, her eyes glowing with the candlelight that hadn't fully died in her yet. Then let's say it, each of us. She waited. Sarah broke the quiet. I promised to let myself explore wonder again. Just one question at a time. Malik followed. I promise to reach out to the people who matter, even if it scares me. Leo took a breath. I promise to choose something tomorrow, anything, and to let myself try. Sam's voice was low but steady. I promise to rest, really rest, and figure out what's mine, not just what's expected. Finally, Elena closed her eyes. I promise to stop hiding behind meaning and instead be honest about what I feel, even when it's not beautiful. The promises hung in the air like soft lanterns. No one applauded. No one cried. They simply existed there, suspended between night and morning, between doubt and possibility. And outside, the first streak of dawn finally broke over the horizon, painting the tired room in the faintest shade of gold. A new day had begun, quiet, uncertain, and real.